Hello, it's Tracy Farquhar here, coming to you with the first weekly tarot card reading with general guidance for the week ahead. So my intention here is to kind of tune into the energy of what's surrounding us right now, the circumstances of our lives as a collective, and to get a little help in understanding that energy and working with it in the best way that we can. So in my readings, if you haven't had one with me before, I always pull 4 cards. The first 3 cards represent past, present, and future. And the fourth card is what I call an action card. And that card sums up the whole reading. So I'm just going to show you what I've got and talk about what I feel that card represents. So the first card in the past position that I pulled today is the 8 of Cups. Looks like that is a little glare. The deck that I use is called Barbara Walker Tarot Deck. So Cups is the suit of the emotional self, the feeling self, the heart. And the 8 of Cups has a lot to do with loss. In fact, that's the word that's on the card in my deck. It's coming up in the past. And since we're at the beginning of a new year here, it is a time to kind of reflect on some of the losses in our lives. These losses may be beneficial to us, but they're never easy. Some of the losses that we have experienced as a collective have been pretty profound this past year. And I think it's just encouraging us to really allow ourselves to grieve and feel what we need to feel about those losses, to not pretend that they're not important, to not try to push past them and just be strong all the time. We need to nurture ourselves through any kind of loss. And again, even if it's a loss that is something that was beneficial for us to let go of, we need to feel that fully. And in that sense of loss can be a sense of rejuvenation. But that sense of rejuvenation is difficult to come by when we're not acknowledging our emotions and feelings around the loss itself. We always have to let go of something in order to let new energy in. And that can be something as simple as cleaning out the closets, or it can be something very emotional, such as loss of a relationship of any kind, loss of a place where you lived or a job. It's always a difficult thing. So if you've experienced anything like that, and I think it's inevitable that we all experience at some time in our life, this sense of loss, make sure that you're sitting with it and acknowledging how you feel and expressing it in some way, whether it's talking about it, writing about it, meditating on it. Allow the tears to flow, allow yourself to express it. And at some point, you'll be able to start to look forward to what's next. The second card is also about change, and it's a pretty dramatic card. In my deck, it's called the House of God. In most decks, it's called the Tower, and it's always a very kind of similar energy and image. It looks like a scary card, but I think the cards that, especially in the major arcana, that look kind of scary and intimidating, it's on purpose to get our attention, but it doesn't necessarily mean something negative. So the Tower or House of God card is about big change, sudden change. That lightning hitting the tower is something that we sometimes feel. Again, on the heels of loss can be that sense of our lives never being the same. And it can be disconcerting. It can feel like the ground is shifting under our feet. And again, we want to make sure that we're dealing with the emotional impact of that, so that we can then start to put the pieces back together in a different way, though. Instead of wanting to go backward, we want to go forward. We want to consider what this change is offering us this year. And again, not an easy thing to do, but if we kind of ease ourselves into an attitude that is encouraging us to look at what's being offered, what we can do with what has been shown to us and what has happened to us. That's where our power is. What can I do with the pieces of this thing that blew up in my face now? And how can I best move forward in a way that is in my highest good, in my best interest? And what is it that I want out of this? What do I want to do with this? And that's the next card. Because the next card is the Seven of Cups in the future. Where? So again, we have cups, which is the suit of the emotional self, the feeling self. The word on this card is dream. So I think it's a perfect card to come up here in the future because it's asking you, what do you want? What are your intentions going forward? What dreams and desires do you have for your life now? Just in the way it is now. So, the first two cards dealing with the change and the loss is an important part of this progression. And it's where we have to start. And then this future card is saying, okay, this is what is. What do I want to do with it? Where do I want to go from here? What do I want my life to feel like now? Instead of, I wish things were the way they used to be. And you're going to have moments of that always. We all have nostalgia. We all, have this kind of illusion sometimes that life was so much better or easier before. But the idea here is don't give up on that sense that happiness still exists, that fulfillment of your dreams and desires is attainable. And in fact, maybe it's more attainable now than it was before because of the changes, even because of the losses. So as this card's coming up in the future, it's saying kind of allow this progression to emerge in the time that is right for you. But don't forget that intention is very powerful. And wishing for things to be the way they were can blind us to the possibilities for the future. So we don't want to dwell there too much. We want to go into that place that says, okay, in this year, I would like more of this feeling. I would like more of these experiences. And I think that's the best place to start with intentions instead of making them a very narrow, sometimes unattainable goal, which sets us up for disappointment and disillusionment, which makes it difficult for us to continue to set intentions. So, it's a very positive card to come on the heels of two challenging cards, saying you still have the power to dream and desire and intend your life. The fourth card, which, as I said, is the action card that sums up the whole reading. It's like, this is what this time is all about. It's the Seven of Swords. And swords can be a challenging suit in the tarot. Swords represents our thinking mind. The word on this card in my deck is opposition. And to me, that opposition is often the opposition between what we are thinking and what we are feeling. So in light of the other cards, that sense of loss can make us feel like, we're dealing with grief, we're dealing with disappointment. And our minds may tell us that things will never be good again. Our minds may put us in a state of expectation for more loss or more struggles. But your heart knows differently. So we can be in that state of opposition between what we're thinking and what we're feeling. It's normal and it's natural for humans to do that because we are taught to rely on our thinking mind only and not to trust the feeling self. But to me, this card is saying, be aware of that opposition. Be aware that your mind is programmed by the experiences, by other people, by our culture. And we have certain expectations based on all of those influences. So we want to really make sure that we're taking time to connect with our feeling self, our intuitive self, our heart self, and say, what am I really feeling about this? What's my intuition encouraging me toward? Where do I feel the guidance coming in? What's that small, still voice talking about? And not the harsh mind voice that can really set you up for the expectations of doom and gloom. Okay. So there is a real shift being offered here. And since we're talking about this week, I would say really take the time to connect with your heart, your feeling self. Take some quiet time, make peace with that opposition between your head and your heart. Breathe into it. Know that we can always keep going toward what we want, but we have to have a sense of what we want. And that means for you individually and for us as a collective and for our country and the world. What do you see is possible? And maybe what you see with your eyes and what you hear with your ears isn't all there is that is possible. And your heart knows that. Your intuition knows that. Your higher senses know that. All your guides and angels and loved ones in spirit know it. And they're there to help support you and guide you in the direction that is in the highest good for you and for us all. So, a real strong message about not losing hope, not losing your dreams, trusting what you're sensing and feeling over what you are thinking. Of course, we have to be logical and practical as well as human beings, but that's not the only way we can perceive our lives. And that's not the only place we can go when we consider what's possible. I hope you found that helpful today. I will be publishing these on YouTube every Monday around this time. If you would like an individual session with me, or would you like to check out anything else I'm offering, just go to my website, tracyfarquhar.com. I wish you a great week. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.